Hello again. Drumboy reads slow here. I just got off shift. Been hanging around at the house for a minute. Ate a sandwich that officially makes me the smelliest man on earth. And there might have been some libations, but getting into comics and today's review, I just want to preface this by saying I don't like to crap on anyone's art. But I also don't like going to work, and I do that every single day. So let's get into this. All right. So you can see from the cover, it is Absolute Martian Manhunter. What I want you to take away from this particular review is to heed my words. Listen to me very clearly. Okay, so from the forward, you now know that we are doing Martian Manhunter of the Absolute Universe, or I should say Absolute Martian Manhunter. There's 6 titles in the Absolute Universe. Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Flash, Absolute Martian Manhunter, and Absolute Green Lantern. Of the 6, only one of them was going to be initially just a miniseries. I don't know if this is going to go for it. I really don't need it to. I actually, the artwork, the direction, everything, and the initial reviews I heard had me thinking I didn't want to spoil this for myself. This was one of the ones that made me think, let me preface this by saying the Absolute Universe, when they introduced that and they were going to do these different titles, I'd kind of been sleeping on the Ultimate Universe, and then I did some catch up on some of those, and I wasn't too satisfied with that experience. But I've always been a bigger fan of DC, and to know they were doing that, I decided I just wanted to get a sampling of everything. Absolute Green Lantern just really didn't interest me. To be honest, I guess I've been sleeping on Green Lantern for a really long time. He used to be one of my favorites outside of Batman from the Justice League, and I don't know. The character kind of just, as I got older, I just thought the character was stupid. But maybe I shouldn't have stopped on that one. But I have 5 of the titles, and I like different art styles. That speaks to me. Like, I like when people take chances for, proof of concept, holding true to what they want to do, and putting out something that isn't casual friendly. I really like that. I really appreciate that in art. But this wasn't it. And when that kind of thing, when someone thinks they're doing that or going for that and it doesn't turn out well, a lot of times it's because they try to shove a bunch of pretentious nonsense at you. I mean, this was really bad. First impressions, I actually didn't mind the first issue. I thought this could be pretty interesting. I mean, true first impressions was the book that inspired me to kind of hold back on the reading of the Absolute titles and compile them and read them all at one time. Which I'm really I'm upset I did that, because if I had known how much work it was going to be to get through 6 issues of something. This is, honestly, since coming back to comics, this is probably the single worst experience I've ever had with a comic book. And to be honest, that DC would push something like this out with, like, I know the Absolute Universe was kind of important, but this was so bad. Like, let's get into some of the details, because I don't want to get into a big rant about DC, but this is the exact thing that is going to kill comics, and they'll be responsible for it. You know, I mean, creatively, they'll be responsible for it. That you would think anyone wants to experience comics in this manner, and that DC didn't have the absolute foresight to know that Drumboy Reads Slow was going to literally implode upon issue 2, 3, 4, and unfortunately 5 and 6 as well. You didn't think this through, DC. You didn't think this through. This should have been canceled after 2 issues. All right, so let's get into why Drumboy Reads Slow despises us so much. You, of the 5 issues, you could literally just rip out any panel or page from any of the 5 issues and just shuffle them into any order and then tape them roughly together and hand them to somebody, and they would have the same exact experience as they would if they carefully and meticulously read every single page. There is literally next to no plot other than there is a FBI agent, and he's like, it's like he's on acid the whole time, but like, you know, it's supposed to be this Martian, this green Martian that almost looks like the original Martian Manhunter, and he's just like this entity in his head. This kind of reminds me of, like, I'm forgetting his name, but he got introduced in the New Mutants, and he was, what was it? Was it War or something? I don't know.
You've never
Warlock?
read a comic in your life.
I can't remember, but he was actually a cool character. This sucked. I mean, like, there was absolutely nothing to this. I cannot express within the limitations of what I allow on my channel.
Come on, grow
how
up there.
bad this comic disappointed me. And to be honest with you, I think that it was supposed to be like, with how quick the scenes were changing and the artistic direction, I really wanted it to be good. I like Javier Rodriguez. I think his artwork is amazing, but I mean, there has to be a reason to keep reading.
There isn't.
And there was none. I guess they introduced a villain at some point.
I don't believe you.
This has got to be the most pretentious, up its own, thing I've ever read in my life.
Okay, that
I mean, this
actually
is
checks
probably
out.
the worst comic I've ever read, that I've ever subjected myself to, and it's just because I wanted to cover it for the channel, and I can't even, I was thinking about, donating some of my runs to, maybe to a hospital where people are bored out of their minds and could use a little distraction or something. I couldn't donate this. All right, we're getting off track. So the FBI agent, his wife, I've literally seen this in 3 comics this week alone, but the wife is like, why can't you? She literally is another one of those that doesn't understand why her husband, who signed a contract with the government as an FBI agent, has to follow orders and just can't just stay home all day and hang out. I guess writers have just completely forgotten any sense of originality altogether, and it's just going to be the same premise repeated over and over and over. What we can't tolerate, though, is poor execution.
You tell him. You're the voice.
I don't think there's going to be
Your integrity inspires.
14-year-old me being confused by what the swans were, the music it's a musical project. If you don't know Swans,
God, I can tell you're really authentically into
I was a little confused and I didn't understand it. And the first couple of albums sounded like they could be like, you know, almost interpreted as like industrial grindcore, you know, kind of godfleshy, even though they're before that. And the reaction I had back then is, you know, oh, why is it so ugly, you know, or like why are the songs so long, or why, you know. And as I got older, I realized like what geniuses they were. This, I don't think I'm gonna be coming back to this. It's not why I read comics. And to be honest with you, if I was gonna, you know, come back to something for, you know, artistic integrity, I mean, it would probably be like Dave Sims' Cerebus, which I do plan to read. I mean, like to me, that's the original underground of, you know, comics. And this tried to be like an underground comic, and it just wasn't. I think it tried to be fast paced, and instead the dialogue was so bad because you know, you're trying to make the world look almost animated in a way that it looks like,
come on, get to the point.
It almost like makes it almost like things inconsequential, but then you try to make the aliens so authentic that it literally, I didn't know what to focus in on any page, and I didn't really feel like looking at interpretive art.
So deep.
This really is a bad comic. I really don't want you to read it. It doesn't read good as sequentially. 0 out of 2. It doesn't read good as a single issue. 0 out of 1. The artwork is cool. That can have a 1.5. The coloring is fantastic. Full point on that. So we're up to 2.5. The covers are great.
I'll be the judge of
3.5. And everything else is a 0. So this comic scores a 3.5 on the 10 scale of my little made-up criteria. And I could probably make up 3 more completely original criterias off of some crap I just made up, which is exactly what my current criteria is.
It's completely fake.
And it would still score low.
Still totally meaningless.
Nothing, no current issue in comics is gonna be worse than people coming together and finishing a comic that doesn't need to be finished just for the sake of doing it. We got to be rough on these. So this is you know what? Maybe I can sell them to someone who doesn't actually care if they have bad comics, and then I can go and maybe buy the, you know, the Green Lantern stuff I missed, and, you know, no, I think they should be burned. So anyhow, this scores a massive 3.5 out of 10, and it probably shouldn't even have that. I just made up a criteria that scraped some points for it. Do not read this. If I was dumb and I waited until it was completely released, and well after it was completely released, to read it. The Absolute Universe is still relevant. I really don't think they can revive this. I don't think there's a redemption arc, and I can't believe Dennis Camp is responsible for this horrific abomination. All right. Well, anyway, this has been Drum Boy Reads Slow. We have Absolute Superman and Absolute Batman coming up right behind. Probably not gonna see Absolute Flash until the weekend, but I'm sure that by the time you actually watch the video, it'll be 4 months old anyway. So welcome to the channel. I'm Drum Boy Reads Slow. I review comic runs. I do sometimes movie reviews, sometimes album reviews, and absolutely suck at the drums, and will absolutely put up demonstrations of that as often as I can and can find time. So please give me a like and subscribe. Give me stuff. Give me stuff. No, I'm kidding. We're just here to have fun. We're doing some good stuff here.
If you say so.
And if anyone has any ideas, like what are these now? Coasters? Anyhow, take care. Be safe. Love life. And we'll see you next time. Yeah, that's a really good video I got.